call you to do that on my way out. That's my
How about the Jefferson?
March 12th. All right, last module for today. It is well spent day, well, good day. It'll be module 12, so you're actually flipping a few modules now, where we will do the total coliform rule. And tomorrow, please come back. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with the groundwater rule, groundwater production. All right, we're going to talk about the regulatory overview of the total coliform rule, and we will identify the various methods for compliance with this rule. And some of this from the top may not be applicable to you, especially if you're not doing any type of disinfection. So in those areas, just know what your state is doing, know what the requirements are. If at any point you're unsure about the requirements, I was told we got the person that remembers all, does all, write all the rules right here in the room with us, so that's excellent.
Oh.
The one behind you.
Where's Jenny?
Oh, he's my protege.
All right. Bacteria, parasites, viruses can cause health problems. I think we can all agree on that. And so it is very, very crucial when you have all of these entities that's in your drinking water that can lead to diseases. Over the last hundreds of years, we've done an excellent job because of chlorination as far as reducing the amount of waterborne disease. I said earlier, chlorination was probably, I'd say, right up there with one of the top 10 as far as the advances that we've made during the 20th century. Because when you look at prior to chlorination of water, look at Christopher Columbus. When he came over, more than 80% of his people died because of what? Waterborne disease. Google some of this. When you look at the War of 1812, more people died from waterborne disease than from gunshot. So it's you're working on that? No, you don't need any other type of biological warfare like that. Do we test for all the possible pathogens that are in the water? No, it can be very expensive to do that. And so we use one particular group, the coliform group, as we were talking earlier, as our indicative organism. When it's present, then there is a risk for disease in that particular drinking water source. Total form group, we have the total coliforms, we have the fecal. Total coliforms, naturally occurring, water, soil, and so they can be even on us right now. Fecal is from the intestinal waste of warm-blooded organisms. Can you name some of the disease-causing bacteria, protozoas that's out there, viruses that we're concerned with in the water? Cholera, dysentery, amoeba, bacillary dysentery, typhoid, paratyphoid, eczema.
Enterococcus.
Okay, enterococcus, very good. Matter of fact, a lot of the changes are going to that instead of E. coli.
Cryptosporidiosis.
Okay, cryptosporidiosis.
Does that mean more than one?
Legionnaire's disease. So there are a lot of them that are out there that we're concerned with. Now, with the total coliform rule, it established the legal limits and health goals for the presence of total coliform. What do you think the health goal is for bacteria, or for the E. coli? Zero, absolutely, because if there's any of them that are present, then there is a risk. So the goal is 0. Okay? But, however, EPA has established limits for them to be in our water. Details and the frequency of the testing, we'll talk about that. As far as whether or not the total coliform rule is applicable to all public water systems, do you know if it is? When you say public water system, remember we're talking, oh gosh, that's another one. I think this is your protege here, huh? He's learning everything. Community water systems, non-transient, as well as transient, any public water system that's applicable to. Now, EPA goal is 0. You told me that because any level indicates some risk to the health anytime that they are present. However, the legal limit, systems must not find coliform in more than 5% of the samples taken per month. No more than 5. And I know when you get ready to take that test again, you're going to argue with me because of the wording, but the legal limit is no more than 5%. Okay. Anytime that's greater than 5%, it's a violation. And when there is a violation, remember you need to report it to the agency as well as to the public. Now, actions taken to eliminate microbial contamination could be as simple as getting out there and repairing the disinfection or filtration equipment, flushing. But again, if you're not doing this right here, and that's the reason I said some of it may not be applicable to you, just throw it in that mental trash can. Flushing or upgrading the systems or enacting source water protection program. Now, some of the changes is now when you do get a positive, not only are you going back to the site within so many connections upstream and downstream, but you're also pulling a source sample in addition to that. Actions to be taken to eliminate the microbial contamination, collect repeat set within 24 hours. Now, what do we mean by a set? That usually means it's more than one. So for every positive, if I have under 1,000 people, because the number of samples is based on the population. So under 1,000 people, I probably have one sample site. So if I'm doing one routine monthly sample and it's positive, I have to go back and pull 4 repeats. That's my set. If I have more than 1,001 individual and I have samples that are positive, now for every positive it is 3. What's the 5 for? For the next month? Yes, sir.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
If you have one that came up bad and we get 4 repeats to verify the one, well, 1 out of 5 samples is still 20%. So should they still be positive?
Okay, why are we going back doing the, let's explore. Why are we going back doing the 4 repeats for that positive?
Trying to
What are we
validate the
trying to
first
do?
positive. Right?
We're trying to verify, I can give you that, but what else are we trying to do? Not just verify that that was indeed positive.
We're trying to verify that there's not an acute E. coli.
To determine if the
That
problem's
you-
in the distribution system or the service connection.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you, absolutely. So we're not just haphazardly going back up there and pulling samples just to make sure that one was legit, but we're trying to identify where the problem
But we
is.
violated the 5% rule.
Violated
Right.
5%. If you have,
Oh, it's
yeah,
1 or
only
5%.
5%,
Sorry.
5% rule, if you're collecting under
Because
40,
to have
if
5%,
you have 1,
you'd
it's
have
all
to
kind
take
of
20
violation.
samples for one of them to be 5%.
Okay, yeah, for the 5.
40.
Yeah, so he's got it all up there. He's absolutely right. So 40, less than 40 samples, 1 positive, you violate. More than 40 samples, 5% positive, you have an MCL is what it amounts to. So he's absolutely right on that.
We'll discuss this later. Well, you're gonna have to straighten me out.
Okay, so we got 24 hours to get out there and to collect those repeat samples, and we'll talk about the process in a little bit. I won't go ahead and give that away ahead of time. We want to analyze for fecal coliform or E. coli. Again, that's a more specific for your intestinal weights there. Now, if I have a total positive, first sample, go back and I get another total positive from one of my repeat, is that an acute risk? Kevin?
She's saying it to her.
I know, no. Absolutely, no, not an acute risk. So, if it's not an acute risk, it falls up under which tier? We're putting the pieces together now. Who said 2 first? Okay, good. Under 2, good. Which now means I have to notify the public within 14 days. Excellent. Now, I have a total positive, I have a fecal positive. Is it an acute risk?
Yes.
Yes? Why? What changed?
This goes with the
Because of the fecal. Okay, cool. Well, let's ask you this. I have a fecal positive followed by a total positive. Is it an acute risk?
Yes.
Very good. Any combination when you got the fecal or E. coli in there makes it an acute risk. If it's an acute risk, what tier? 1. What's my notification time frame?
24 hours.
Excellent. All right, monitoring. Now, the population determines the number of samples that you're going to pull. And again, you can go on their website. They have a little blurb in your book that give you an example of how many samples you can be pulling based on your population. For instance, in Houston, we have a little over 2 million people. We're pulling 475 samples per month. But when you look at the land mass of Houston, it can be very big. How do I determine where to get my samples? Got to do a sample size plan. I'm going to take into consideration, I have my distribution map, and I want to make sure it's well representative of the entire system. So you got to develop that. And this was a little clip that was in your book there, again, up to 3,300, because we're talking small systems. We're looking at 3 samples per month. Okay, gone out, I've collected my sample, it's positive. I got to get the set of repeats to assess the extent of the problem. And I have to follow through the next month with collecting 5 routine samples the next month to ensure everything is okay. After that, if they all come back negative, I'm back to my normal schedule. So the number of repeats, if it's under 1,000 population, you're doing 4 per every positive. If it's greater than 1,000, 1,001, it's 3 repeats for every positive.
If the repeats come back negative, you still gotta go to your body column.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cheat out of that. 'Cause that one wasn't real.
Can't
That
cheat.
was not real.
That's real when it's validated.
And that's when we go back and do our repeats, where are we going? We're going back to the positive site,
Straight
going
down.
within 5 connection upstream, within 5 connection downstream. Suppose I have only 1 routine sample.
That's another site.
Huh?
Alternate
You
site.
know what other
Okay,
site?
we can use alternate site, or we can go back to that same sampling site and collect 4 times, or collect on 4 different days.
And how do you handle it when you can't get samples from 5 either way, or the DEP, you have to go third, or the positive site, you have to go. You just do your best, right?
Right, if I'm just doing the 1, or, explain to me what you said again.
Saying, you got a positive, you can go back and get it, but nobody's home on either side for you to get access. They don't have outside taps. So you can only get samples that day from what's available that day. So you might have to go 10 trailers down to get one.
And
Or
then
15.
Matt, I'm going to ask you to defer to your state agency on your issue.
So we say you go to the nearest one, because we have this
But
issue
you-
where we can't get in the original location, so we go
Yeah.
to the nearest one possible, mark that as the original, and do 5 up and 5 down from
Okay.
there. And if you can't get 5, you just go to the next
You
available.
get the
Because
best
you all collect your
Yeah.
samples, okay? And see, there again, different animals, with us, because typically we use the outside possibly.
But not everybody has one. A lot of people don't have them, and then they'll valve them off, so you can't use them when the kids won't mess with them and stuff.
Okay, so in a case like that, with my sample siting plan, I'm doing all that type of investigation. I know what's there, what's not there, before I add them to the list to give that to the regulatory agency. These are my sample sites, these are my alternates.
Well,
So
usually
I've
we
done
don't
my
use
due
or sample sites for back tees. If it's a residence, we can go there and do a back tee. But it's just for like if you're doing, I guess the DEP or distribution byproducts.
And you
They
just
tell
threw
you
me
where the
for a
dead
loop
ends
because
are.
you mentioned something, and now I'm confused. You said we use the residents for our back tees.
Right.
What do you mean by back tees?
The back T sample.
Oh,
No California.
Okay, I just went to, are we talking about the same? So I'm just, that's why.
That's where you
Which
get
is
the
the
no
best
California
site.
from. Is
So
the
you
back
take one
T
there.
sample.
Right, and that's what we're talking about, really, those back tees,
Yeah.
right? We're on the same page?
Yeah, yeah, we're right there.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, they don't tell us what house to go to get a back T from.
they're supposed to.
We go to anyone that's in the park. And then we get complaints, we go to whoever's the complaint.
There should be a sample siting plan with physical descriptions of the addresses submitted to the state, as well as alternative addresses. So it's there. Your job now is to find out, okay, where are those sites? They should be located on the map.
I guess we'll get to that
Anita
later.
said that, yeah, she's got you covered.
She's got me all right.
Take the sample site wherever it goes.
She's got you covered, so again, it
I
won't be.
think I just got in trouble.
No, again, we want to make sure that you're going to the right place. And it's ironic, a lot of things come out in training that we do because that's the way someone's trained us, or for whatever reason we get away from the standard operating procedures.
Yeah, Sharon.
So these are awesome opportunities to make sure that we're all on the same page, really, and that we are following whatever protocol that's in place. So anything that happens in training stays in training, and it's an opportunity for improvement. It's blackballed because of it. Yeah.
Sharon's like, oh yeah, that's gonna
We've taken notes. No, we can't do that because
Do
then
the merits.
people will clamp down and close up.
No, I'll just get in more
All right.
trouble.
All right, acute MCL. We've already established any total coliform followed by E. coli, fecal positive, would be an acute. You want to notify the state by the end of the day that you're notified or before the next business day. Any way you look at it, it's within a 24-hour period, okay? Notify the public within 24 hours by television, radio, hand delivery, a method that's deemed appropriate by the state. And I'm not sure, you may have to go and issue a boil water notice, okay, if applicable. What are we telling people? If you're gonna use it for drinking, for cooking, just bring it to a rapid boil, 1 to 2 minutes, no more. All right, for monthly maximum contaminant level issues would be total followed by a total, and again, that falls under your 14-day Tier 2 reporting requirements. You're still going to notify the state within 24 hours. So just because you're notifying the people within 14 days, it's always 24 hours as far as the state goes. Gotta keep
We
it
get the
going.
sample before the systems do it.
Huh?
We get the results before the systems do it.
Because you do your own samples, so you
Well,
already.
Tidewater does theirs, but we still get theirs before.
It's our lab.
So you
That's what we
already
do
know
results
that there's
first.
an issue.
Well, we have a requirement in the state for whether our lab does it or a private lab, if there's an MCL exceedance and we count positives on back pieces, MCLs, that they have to notify us as well as the water system.
Okay, so although that you're doing it, you still require the system to notify you.
Yeah.
They say if the system does it, they send it to the lab is required to notify the system that collects the sample and us at the same time.
Okay.
So, system can't hide it if they had positive.
Right, excellent. And that's check and balance. And then again, that 30 days, put 14 days here, but, for you. And we're still collecting the 5 routine samples the following month, just to ensure that all is well. Because we want to have that confidence in our water, we want the public to have the confidence in our water too.
Well, for the test purpose, it's gonna be 30 days.
For your test purpose, if it's an EPA exam,
Yeah.
there are EPA standards, there are state standards. Who certify you?
I understand, but when I take your test, if it asks that question, it's 30 days.
Oh, my test, I'm thinking you're talking
No,
about state.
no, I'm talking about your test.
I was just about to say whatever state agency certifies.
Well, I
you
understand
with
that.
their
I'm talking about
requirements
for your
on.
test.
Right, Absolutely, so I just really screwed you all up, yeah.
Well, some of these people you might confuse. I'm not.
All right.
What does that mean?
King Richard.
I'm
You
very
have to
literal.
know your
I can't read
purpose in
between the
life.
lines.
You have to know your purpose in life. The purpose of the king is to do what?
Die.
You don't do anything, you make sure people around you that know things and do things. So we got you covered. Okay. Just want you covered. All right, exceptions to the rule. Can your total coliform positive samples be invalidated?
Yes.
Okay, what circumstances?
Simple error.
By the lab.
No. Well, I haven't invalidated, or also sprinkler aren't going to be invalidated, but most time we invalidate if the positive, you get a positive sample, go get your repeat. If the register site, the only one that comes back positive, we will invalidate that sample form.
Okay, so positive, and all the repeats, only the original site is positive, the others are negative, validation.
Yes.
Okay, one, and you say
Simple error.
sampling error, that is one that we recognize.
Yes, which is simple.
When that one is positive and all the repeats are negative, that's the one that we look at as, hey, something went wrong with the process.
Under the term original site, if you go to a different sink, is it still considered original site?
Original site
Same sense.
is
I mean,
the
it could be the same
sample.
address, different sink, still the same site.
No, it's not.
No?
That's done on a case-by-case basis, Stan.
Yes, sir.
And Anita, did you have the case where you invalidate, you say lab error?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
A frozen or leaked or something like that, the lab can say they spilled it.
Temperature control?
Or
No,
air
temperature control?
They reject it instead of invalidating positive. They say,
Okay.
For those.
They would never test.
What about for
Sometimes they
confluent
never
growth? What about if you get a sample with confluent?
It's been a lot of years since it's been a lot of years since any labs have used that method that
I've
would
never
get
heard of it.
confluent growth or too numerous to count.
What?
I remember those. I've been around long enough for those days, but now with the polisher, all the labs are using
It's,
that.
yeah,
You're really
present or
gonna-
absence
Right.
where you can do away with that, but
Yeah.
in some cases, smaller systems may be still utilizing
Some
that
labs, I
membrane.
think there's labs in Maryland that still use those methods.
Filtration, so that may be an issue.
Yeah.
And a valid reason to invalidate or what have you, so. Good. Now, reduced monitoring possible if the system has no history of the coliform contamination, but in order to get to this status, you have to have it approved by the state pharmacy agency. All right, monthly monitoring worksheets. This is just simply a guideline for individuals to keep them on track, how many samples to pull per month, how many repeats from where, organizational things. Because if you're supposed to pull 4 samples and you pull 3, it's a violation. It's a violation. So worksheets, good thing. Your sample siting plan should be written. You want to make sure that you are pulling representative active samples. In other words, if it's a vacant home, that's probably not a good idea to pull from that particular place. Take into consideration the location of the water source, treatment facilities, and all of that. Cross connections. What's a cross connection?
When you got your water feed going in your permanganate tank, instead of being above your permanganate tank,
Basically, any connection where the water comes back and washes into your drinking water.
Absolutely. So, in essence, think of a sink. That's probably the easiest that I can, sink with the faucet below the rim and the possibility of backflow or garden hose and a mud puddle. Okay, you want to eliminate those altogether. Make sure you don't have any of those. And then hydrant flushing may be something to make sure, again, chlorinated water, you don't use chlorine, is running through that system, because there's always a possibility if you have pipes that are coated with slime and stuff like that, yes, it happens, calcium, tuberculation and things like that, those compounds in there will reduce the amount of chlorine, which can lead to a positive sample.
I think most systems that have hydrants probably have chlorine. It's usually the smaller system.
Okay. All right, right, so we need, part of this sample siting plan will have the map to the distribution systems. And on that map, we'll have the areas located where the routine samples are pulled, repeat sampling sites also, as well as the troubled areas. You need to know where the dead ends are and where the areas that may be of some great concern. We have a narrative description of the plan, including the water system name, contact, the identification number, water source name, population served, number of connections. All of this is a components of your sample siting plan, as well as having a maintenance program in place. In other words, I know the minimum number of samples that are required. It's documented, the location of those, the sample collection schedule, the techniques. And so again, in some cases, operators or individuals collecting samples must have some type of accreditation or certification just to pull the sample, not to run it, but just to pull it. Schedule for flushing via distribution lines. The person who's actually preparing the plan and the date the plan was prepared. Okay, make sure that when you identify which sites you're going to use, there are active sites, active sites. Outside faucets are common sampling points, but you want to make sure if you're utilizing them as a sampling point, that again, there's no leaky packing material around the stem, that they're not too close to the ground, that they have threads on the inside of their spouts, because all of those areas where possible contamination can occur. That's because it's very difficult to disinfect. Or you want to stay away from faucets with aerators. You also want to stay away from swivel type faucets with the single valves for hot and cold. Those you want to avoid. Or commercial sinks where the janitor does everything in that particular sink. Stay away from those, because those will probably be hot spots for positives. All right, now in some cases you may want to even consider connecting taps directly into the distribution pipes to avoid dealing with the homeowner altogether, or to avoid dealing with customers' faucets. It's an option. Okay, make sure again, looking at your system, whether you have looped areas or not, you want to make sure this is your main branch here, that you're doing some of the offshoots to make sure that it's representative of your system. Looped areas, and this is your well here. I want to make sure I'm reaching these outlying areas that are far off also, to make sure again, I'm representing. And you have to be able to defend why you've chosen certain sites. Now, ideally, we collect all my samples here, here, and here. They'll all come back what? Negative if I'm chlorinating or something, but that's not what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that all of our customers have quality water. So, sample procedures. I get the containers. Usually your containers will come from the laboratory. They must be sterilized containers. 125 mils, because usually you'll need a little more than 100 mils that's required for the test. Do not rinse out, because they will contain either a tablet or a solution. Sodium thiosulfate. The purpose of that is to neutralize the chlorine. To neutralize, to take the chlorine out. The purpose of the sodium thiosulfate is to take the chlorine out. Why are we taking the chlorine out? Then we just put the chlorine in?
Because bacteria won't grow if you kill it all with chlorine.
Very good.
So you
It's
take
a biological test. So you don't want to mess your test up. So we neutralize the chlorine. You sample from the designated sites. You make sure, again, you're flushing the lines 2 to 3 minutes. Remember, we want to make sure we have that temperature change. Test for chlorine if you're chlorinating. If there's no chlorine there, I need to do some more flushing until I have a residual. Because if I don't have a residual, then it's likely that they may come back positive. Flame or disinfect the faucet. What do you all disinfect your faucets?
We don't do
We
that.
don't do that.
We don't recommend that.
You don't?
We sample through aerators.
Not even bleach or hydrogen peroxides or
Not allowed to touch
nothing?
it, nope.
Okay.
We used to flame them, but a bit lighter is not going to properly disinfect a tap.
No, not a
And if you
big
forget
light.
that one little black rubber faucet and you melt that to it, and homeowners really get irritated.
You got plastic sinks, faucets.
Okay. Alcohol, bleach.
We
No.
don't do any of that.
Okay. Yeah,
Some
that's some good
operators
water.
will, but we don't
Okay.
recommend it. Just good flushing. Pick a good tap, and if
Good
you flush
flushing,
it
yes.
3-5 minutes, you should be in good shape.
Excellent, excellent. Am I about to leave?
Yeah, I gotta get ready and go.
Okay, Sharon, can I get you to do me a favor? I'll let you take yours with you.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the numbers? Yeah. Did you write it down, Tony? Oh my goodness, look at this. Excellent
Do you need the
employee.
numbers?
No, I'll give them to him again.
Right
And
here.
you can just bring them back in the morning.
I just
Okay.
want to
Can I
smack
take
across
the
the head
book,
over
or do I need,
Not an open book. Not an open book.
so I can't take the book?
So leave the book just to ensure the integrity of the test.
You'll be back tomorrow.
Not an open book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
calling us,
No lifeline, you turn the phones off.
Yeah. No lifelines, none of that, not an
Can
open
you Google
book.
it?
No, don't do that. You mess up the integrity of the whole process. All right, so, once you do that, go ahead and fill the container to the shoulder, don't fill it all the way. Complete the sampling form, type of sample, whether it's your routine monthly sample. Because, do you pull back teas after construction or line breaks? Good. So you wanna make sure you make that distinction there, and then get it to the lab within 30 hours till 4 degrees plus or minus 2.
Actually, for fact, cheese is actually below 10. The chemical is 4 degrees.
Okay, and on that, when you look again at EPA, the approved methods that are out there, they give you that leeway, and I guess that's where you can get to.
Yeah, all that says 10 for fact, I know what chemicals are.
For chemicals, okay.
But for fact, cheese, you want to fill 2 to 100 mil line, and most all your products are going to have 100 mil line versus shoulder, because it's got to be 100 mils for actual sampling.
Okay, so y'all got that for your agency, what they require there. Because in Texas, some of us don't do the
Well,
little.
that is,
Ooh, I remember them days too.
No, you're
You know,
dating yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
Been around
Or
that
the
long.
little
Twirl
100
bags.
25 mil.
Nasco twirl bags.
All right.
Good old days.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 14 says all samples received in the laboratory must be analyzed on the day of receipt. Or does that just mean when they stabilize it?
Yeah, they're looking at that whole time is what that goes back to, but you still have up to 30 hours to get it to the lab. And I'm not gonna go out on that limb because I do know some laboratories, I know if they're getting it in at 5 o'clock that evening, they probably won't be doing it.
yeah, if they know they're within that 30-hour window, they'll
Yeah,
off
within
on
that, yeah.
all day samples and run the test on that 30-hour window, it'll be fine.
That's one of the
Maybe it
little gray shades again.
Should be.
Yeah.
Not
Little
shall
gray
be.
area there. All right, monitoring requirements, you wanna make sure you're collecting the required as well as the routine samples. You have issues violations when they are not submitted. Total coliform maximum contaminant level exceedance when you have more than 40 samples, greater than 5% of positive, that's an exceedance of the MCL. Less than 40 samples, you have more than 1 positive, and you've knocked the MCL out. Acute risk violation, that's an exceedance or violation of the MCL. Okay, propose changes. What do we mean by proposed changes? So you can't run away and say, oh wow, these are the new rules and run with it. No, these are some of the things that they're talking about, like, it will require public water system vulnerable to microbial contamination, identify, fix the problem, to establish criteria for systems to qualify and stay on the reduced monitoring. It'll establish your MCLG as well as MCL for E. coli and eliminate that for the total coliform.
You're talking the revised cough-cough rule?
Yes, for its proposal.
Yeah, it's been finalized.
Been finalized,
So
these
all-
become effective in 2016, I think. or
Yeah.
April of
2016, not
2016.
effective yet?
Right,
Okay.
they just, published
When did
it.
it come out?
Very end of last year.
Yeah, I think,
Last year?
it was either late last year or the very beginning of this year, but it becomes effective, I think, April of 2016.
All right.
So they're no longer
So you
technically
got the
approved.
latest, the greatest there, okay?
That will be fun.
And then looking at treatment techniques for that. Cool. Health effects, you already know what the health effects are from these microbial contaminants, diarrhea, cramps, nausea, vomiting, and can be very serious issues for those that have weakened or compromised immune system. Again, they just give you a little extra information, nice and all stuff. One of the things that I gather from these particular tables and charts here is that we're doing something right. You have cases, and they get fewer and fewer where people are affected. But how many deaths do you have in those charts? Very few. Very few. And although 5,000 here, again, as you come up closer to where we are, very few. But the key is there's still one. Where there is one outbreak, that's too many. And these are just some others for your small to mid-sized systems, some of the issues that we've had there. Ohio, 14,000 affected, 7 deaths, 2,000. And here, 1,000 people, 2 deaths in 1999. These are for your smaller systems. So compliance, source water protection, first line of defense, that's out there. There should be no source of contamination within so many feet of your water source, and that's why now we have to do the source monitoring, pulling that sample after positive. Treatment, try to remove or inactivate the pathogens, and maintain your distribution system integrity. In other words, maintain adequate pressure. What is adequate pressure?
Over 25. Over 25 is not acceptable. PSI.
What is normal operating pressure?
Usually 40 to
Okay.
60, but
And so when you look at it here, we look at 35 is the normal operating pressure. Anytime you drop below 20 is totally, you're using 25.
our regs say 25, minimum of 25.
Minimum, okay. And your normal, is that minimum and normal all the
Under
same?
100.
All we say is minimum, we don't have and I think a max of 100.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Chlorine residual and proper maintenance of your system in order to ensure the integrity. All right, monitoring public awareness and indicative organism monitoring. In other words, we're going to do the back teas, respond appropriately to positive sample, meaning you're going out there doing the repeat, doing the public education component of it, notifying your state agency when there are issues so we can rectify the problem. Maybe they can get you on a treatment technique that works well for all. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, or issues? None?
Didn't know I was supposed to avoid it.
All right, our second last order of business, if there are none, is to complete the post test.